America, I remember when I was a kid, and I had a globe growing up, and it was in my room, and it said the USSR. And I remember when the USSR fell, I wished I had that globe still, because the map had been totally redrawn. I believe we are living in a time where our maps today will be outdated and completely redrawn all around the world. We are looking at a president and a left and a movement that wants that to happen. A borderless world for one, and a caliphate for two. The president today showed us that he has officially, I think, in my opinion, betrayed our last strong ally, at least slapped them across the face, by suggesting we go back to the 1967 border lines. That leaves Israel an 8-mile strip. You go ahead and try to defend that. You can't. If everyone around you is peaceful, you're good. If everyone is screaming, kill the Jews, you're dead. William Helmrich, he is the author of What Was I Thinking? He is a sociology professor, and we wanted to bring him in because I wanted you to help with this one thought. Do you really think that our president and this administration is so clueless that they have no idea what this means to our ally and to the rest of the world?
Oh, I think he has very good intentions, but as they've always said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and he's doing a great job of it now with this kind of solution.
So how is he missing? I mean, first of all, it's an ally. How's he missing this?
What he's missing is that you do not have to endorse or suggest that we go back, that the United States help Israel go back to the pre-1967 borders in order to achieve a two-state solution. Everyone wants a two-state solution. Netanyahu wants a two-state solution.
Right.
Abbas says he wants a two-state solution. But the fact of the matter is that you can have a two-state solution without going to indefensible borders.
So what do you what does it mean for most Americans are like two-state solution, 1967 borders? I don't care. I don't know what is 67 borders? What does that mean?
What that means is that Syria, which is inherently an unstable country, and we're seeing more and more evidence of that now, is going to be looking down from the Golan Heights at Israel. It also means that in this narrow strip, as you said, Israel is going to be helpless. It's going to be indefensible. It's going to have the underbelly exposed totally, especially in the most populated parts of the middle of the country.
So are the Golan Heights, Tiffany, are the Golan Heights part of the 67? Do you know if the Golan Heights for sure were part of the 67? Because I think that's up on the table.
I can tell you.
You can tell you know?
I can tell you right now because I was there.
Okay.
The Golan Heights were part of the pre-67 borders, and it was from the Golan Heights during the Six-Day War that Syria rained bombs and sent tanks down into the kibbutzim that were right beneath it in Kiryat Shmona and Metula and all these exposed cities of the north. Now Israel annexed the Golan Heights, but if Obama's solution stands, the pre-67 borders, that won't mean anything.
I have to tell you, if the Golan Heights, I mean, America, this summer I'm going to take you to Israel, and I'm going to show you the different places in Israel, and I'll take you to the Golan Heights. And when you actually see it, you will understand how insane that is. Golan Heights are up on a cliff. Sea of Galilee is down here. If you have this position, you can so easily kill everybody here. And you're shooting up this way. There's no way this is defensible if you don't have the ledge up above it. It is remarkable.
And not only that, the center of the country would leave the airport 3 miles away from the West Bank. How could that possibly be a sane solution? Have missiles aimed at the airport? And what about the South? Look what happened when Israel gave back Gaza. Did it get anything in return? The president is suggesting that Israel do the exact same thing again. Give something up in advance of negotiations and ask for nothing in return. Now is not the time to do that.
Why do you think the president asked for, made this speech today? It wasn't scheduled, it wasn't announced, it wasn't scheduled, it wasn't part of anything until Benjamin Netanyahu asked to speak in front of Congress on Monday.
You answered the question. He wants to preempt Netanyahu. He wants to put Netanyahu on the defensive.
So tell me how a friend and ally does that.
Well, I think that one of the problems is that he has come to believe the publicity that surrounds him, that he is a revolutionary, and that revolutionaries often feel they don't have to abide by the general rules that we play by. And so, in his opinion, he can go ahead and do this. He can go ahead and cross a red line that no previous president, Democratic or Republican, has crossed, and say, let's go back to the pre-67 lines. Nobody has said that. Do you know what that means to the Arab world? Once he says we could go back to the pre-67 lines, it basically emboldens all the people. And this coming on the heels of an alliance between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, it's a recipe for disaster.
So what does this do? Help me with the idea. Do we have time? Should we take a quick break? Okay, let me take a break here. We'll be right back. When we come back. William Helmrich is the society professor and author of What Was I Thinking, which I think is the appropriate title for what is President Obama thinking. We were talking in the break about, in your book, you talk about taking the easy way out, and you think that's what Obama was doing.
I think that I think he's misguided in what he's doing. I don't think his intentions are necessarily bad, but I think that he's looking for an easy way out of this solution. He sees the entire Arab world afire, and he's looking for something that he can do that will placate them. But this is not the answer. This is not what's going to help. What this does is it emboldens people who seek Israel's destruction. For example, what is Bashar al-Assad thinking now? What is he thinking, Bashar? Is he thinking, oh, I sent people across the border on Sunday, they created a provocation, and now the president says, yes, let's go back to the pre-67 borders. It's almost as though he's being rewarded for what he did. And we all know he's trying to deflect attention from his collapsing regime.
You see the beginning of the show where Lara Logan from CBS was talking, and she said, the more I screamed, I thought if I would scream, they would stop. But the more I screamed, the more incensed they became. Israel now is going to say, wait a minute, what does this do to the Arab world, to the people who are literally gathering by the hundreds of thousands and chanting, kill the Jews, kill the Jews? What does this move by our president mean? Unfortunately,
it does seem that it would play into their hands and that it would embolden them. That in this particular case, the Middle East is a very, very tough neighborhood. The more you give, the more you're asked to give. When I interviewed Dr. Abdel Rantisi for a film a number of years ago, who was the previous head of Hamas, I asked him, would you be satisfied if Israel went back to the pre-1967 borders? The very question we're discussing today. His answer was, no, I will not be satisfied with that because my home is in Ashkelon. Ashkelon is a city that's not far from Tel Aviv. It's a major city, and it's part of pre-1967 borders.
You mean part of it or prior to? I mean,
It was there in 1948. It was there before the Six-Day War in 1967. Now, there are elements within the Palestinian community who genuinely want peace, but he needs to empower those people, not to empower people who say that you give something away without negotiating it, that you say, okay, we'll return to the 1967 borders and don't ask for anything in return. Is it possible for Israel to negotiate the 67 borders when the side that it's dealing with does not even express willingness to recognize its existence?
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Back in a minute. This isn't about Israel. It's about many things. But it's really not about Israel. Maybe for the Israelis. To me, it is about good and evil. Can we even recognize it anymore? Can we see good and evil? People, 100,000 people standing in a square, screaming, Kill the Jew, kill the Jew. Is that good or is that evil? Can you imagine 100,000 people anywhere on earth in a square screaming, kill the black man, kill the black man? It's that clear. Good and evil. How is the world missing this? Does a race of people have a right to live? It's not about Israel. Does a race of people have a right to live? Can you trust or reward someone who answers no to question 2? No. Fourth question, why then are we? Why? It could be because we can't recognize good and evil anymore. In 1933, a lot of people dismissed and talked about the German new spring in Germany. No. No. Does a race of people have a right to live? The answer is yes. Answer it yourself. Say that one of our staffers is leaving this program, Brandon Ricci. He is leaving to go to officer school in the military. He has served us well, and I know he will serve our country in a fine and dignified and honorable way. From New York, good night, America.